I'm Dr. Jonette on Grow with Dr. Jonette, and I've been patiently waiting for my ginkgo tree to turn, for the leaves of my ginkgo tree to turn yellow. However, this year it is not cooperating. So I went ahead and I picked the leaves before they turned yellow. In fact, most of them had already fallen off the tree. I think this year we got so much moisture, and where that tree is, there's so many nutrients in the ground that the leaves didn't turn yellow. However, I think that most of the good stuff that makes the ginkgo healthy for your brain is already been concentrated in the leaves. So I went ahead and picked a bunch of ginkgo leaves, and make sure you watch all the way to the end, because I am going to show you how to brew yourself a cup of delicious ginkgo tea. So to dry the leaves, you can actually dry the leaves in a number of different ways. You can just lay them out on a clean towel. Oh, by the way, once you pick them, just inspect them. Make sure there's no spider webs on them, no insect eggs, no fungus or anything like that. And then give them a quick rinse and pat them dry. Once you've done that, lay them out on a towel, or if you have a food dehydrator, it is a great way to dry them. This particular one is Nesco. It's relatively inexpensive. If you scroll down to the links, if you scroll down below this video, there's a link to where you can purchase it. And the thing I like about it is it doesn't break the bank, and it has a setting here that allows you to the temperature to go as low as 96 degrees. If you were to dry them in your oven, you would have a hard time getting much below about 250. And 250 is about the maximum amount of heat you want to use to dry them. So if your oven doesn't go below 250 or as low as 250 degrees, then you want to just put them on a towel in a well-ventilated area and just let Mother Nature dry them, or just let the air dry them. However, if you have a food dehydrator, I go ahead and put them in the food dehydrator. I like this one also because it has multiple racks. You can, if you only have a little bit, dry a little bit and just do one tray, or you can do a total of, right now I have one, two, 3 trays. And you can actually purchase additional trays if you want, but I have just 3 trays. The other thing that this has is it has a couple of things that can go on top of your tray. It has a solid thing that goes on top of your tray if you have if whatever you're drying is fairly juicy. And it also has a fine mesh that goes on top of your tray. I like to use the fine mesh if I'm drying herbs and things like that, that will, when they get dry, will fall through the wider grates of the tray. So for it to dry, you just take your leaves, spread them out on your tray, kind of about like that, and put the top on it, turn it on, and it takes about 6 hours, I think. Check it out about 3-4 hours, because sometimes they're dry by then. It doesn't take that long, and once they're dry, I usually just take them and put them in a bag. So that's pretty much all you need to do to dry your ginkgo leaves. Once they're nice and dry, now you're ready to enjoy them and make tea out of them. So we've got some water here in my kettle for my tea, and I'm going to go ahead and heat up the water. Once I get the water boiling, I go ahead and add my ginkgo leaves. How many leaves do you want to add for your tea? It kind of depends what you like. When you're done steeping the tea, it's a fairly weak tea. People ask me, what does it taste like? It kind of has an earthy taste, a little bit bitter, and a fairly weak tasting tea. So I will usually put about 12 to 16 leaves per cup. So I've got 2 cups of water here, so we're going to put about 30 leaves in our pot, in our kettle here to steep. I steep the leaves for about 8 minutes, and then what I like to do is I like to put them in a tea kettle and add some additional tea to the ginkgo. Today I'm going to be adding, it's a combination of dried blueberries, currants, raspberries, strawberries, and hibiscus that I have. It adds some additional flavor, it takes away some of the bitterness, and I just enjoy it. In addition to that, I get all the benefits of the blueberries and the other berries in addition to the ginkgo. So what about ginkgo makes it so good for your brain? Ginkgo is one of those substances that is high in antioxidants, specifically high in flavonoids. And flavonoids are those substances that increase blood flow to your brain, also within your body. So not only is it good for your brain and for memory and cognition, it's also good for your heart and your muscles and your body as well. So it's that ability to increase blood flow to your brain that we think is why it seems to be a good tea or a good substance for people who are experiencing some mild to moderate cognitive decline or memory loss. But if you aren't experiencing that, it's also good for your brain to help keep it healthy and help keep it sharp. Looks like it's boiling here, so I'm going to go ahead and add the leaves one. That looks about right. I kind of just guesstimated here. And now that it's bubbling pretty good, I'm going to actually turn it down so I don't boil it all away. Just let it simmer. So I was talking about inflammation. The ginkgo has anti-inflammatory properties as well. We now know that inflammation is a big contributor to the development of Alzheimer's disease, the development of those plaques that we see within the brain. So the anti-inflammatories, we think the anti-inflammatory properties are also important in helping to prevent neurodegenerative type diseases like Alzheimer's diseases. And the anti-inflammatory properties of it also are good for your joints, your bones, your heart, your blood vessels, as well as your muscles. So lots of reasons to enjoy ginkgo tea. Couple of things that you want to be aware of. There are some precautions. Don't drink more than 2 cups of ginkgo tea in a 24-hour period. And if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, also that is a contraindication for drinking Ginkgo Biloba tea. Also, the first time you drink it, have a small amount and see how your digestive system, how your body responds to it. Some people find that it may give them a little GI upset, some diarrhea, maybe a headache. Other people say it helps their headaches, so it's hard to know. But start slow, and if it works for you, then you can increase up to 2 cups of Ginkgo Biloba tea in a 24-hour time period. So my timer just went off, which tells me my tea is done steeping as far as the ginkgo leaves are concerned. I simmered it actually for 8 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pour it into this little teapot. Looks like we got a leaf in there. Usually the leaves just kind of stay in the kettle. I'm going to add a teaspoon of a combination of blueberries, raspberries, currants, loganberries, and strawberry tea. I like to add that little extra flavor to it, and that just goes right into my infuser. You can see there before I added it that the tea was like kind of a pale yellow color. And then once I add the other, it infuses a nice kind of pink color to it. And I let it steep another 5 minutes. So I'm gonna set my timer for 5 minutes here. And then it'll be ready to drink. So once it's ready to drink, what do you want, what can you add to it? You can drink it just as it is. You could add a little sweetener, some monk fruit, some honey, stevia if you want. I don't particularly like stevia, but you could add any of those sweeteners. I like honey the best. A little lemon is also always delicious. And just drink it plain also. It's good that way as well. My timer just went off and my tea is done. So I'm gonna take this out and put that in with the leaves. And I like to give the little lemon a little squeeze and just throw it right into the pot with the tea. And there you have it, a pot of berry Ginkgo Biloba tea, great for your brain. Thank you for watching, clicking the like button, as well as subscribing. Go to my website at growwithdrjonette.com for more videos and recipes, as well as gardening tips. See you next time on Grow with Dr. Jonette.